Listen, as the years keep on passing, it's looking more and more likely that Giannis is going to be gone. Now, guys, it may not happen this season. It may not even happen next season. But I feel like after that, this guy might be gone and moving away from the Bucks. Listen, man, there's a few things that factor into my thinking. We're going to get into it. But you got to keep in mind, Giannis just turned 30. He's 30 years old. He's in the prime of his NBA career. And currently, the Bucks don't look like a team that could win it all. Listen, guys, they're not a horrible team by any means. They sit at 27 and 22 on the year, a 5th seed in the East. It's just not good enough for the amount of talent they have. They have Giannis and Dame in their prime pretty much, and they're not really doing much with it. Listen, let's not even mention the fact that they just got rid of Chris Middleton for Kyle Kuzma. I mean, obviously, Kuzma is the younger player. He does have a potential upside to him, but at the end of the day, Chris Middleton had that championship experience. He's been there before. Obviously, he couldn't stay healthy, but when he was healthy, he played pretty well. But yeah, guys, let's get into some of the deeper reasons that the Bucks might actually lose Giannis. Now, guys, the first reason I could see this as a possibility is because the Bucks do not have a long-term winning team. Now, guys, the Bucks do have Dame and Brook Lopez, but you got to keep in mind, Dame is 34, turning 35. Brook Lopez is 36 already. They have a few years left till they start hitting that decline, and once that happens, their young core is just not good enough to support the rest of the team. I feel like this team's young portion of their roster, you know, they're young and up-and-coming stars. Their rookies just aren't good enough. I mean, yeah, they have some decent players off the bench that are, you know, younger. Maybe Andre Jackson, maybe, you know, AJ Green. It's still just not good enough, bro. They don't have a young core that could support the long-term vision of this team. Guys, you got to keep in mind, on top of all that, Dame could leave. And even if he doesn't, he's going to take up $58 million in cap space, which is a lot for a 36-year-old. And if he's not playing up to that level of, you know, his all-NBA self, it's going to be a waste of money. And the Bucks cap situation is going to be cooked. Now, guys, I feel like the roster is the number one thing. The lack of long-term vision with this roster is just underwhelming. You don't know what's going to happen with Dame. Even if he does stay, the cap situation is going to be cooked. So I don't know who else they're going to be able to bring into the team to help Giannis out. It's just a messed up situation. And I'm not saying that part of the situation can't be fixed, because at the end of the day, yes, there are certain trades they can make. They could probably make a few moves here and there, build the team back up, and, you know, compete for another championship. So I'm not saying that's the only reason. Guys, another reason I can see him leaving is the coaching situation and just the general stability of the team. First of all, ever since Budenholzer got fired in 2023, I mean, they switched to Adrian Griffin. They got Doc Rivers now. How long is he going to stick around? I'm not even too sure. They just keep switching coaches. Management keeps switching. Coaching keeps switching. It's a difficult thing to adjust to, man. It's not easy just losing your coach every single season and getting adjusted to a new coach every year. So I feel like Giannis might just get tired eventually of that, unless Doc Rivers is here to stick around long term, which then it obviously won't affect him too much. But if they keep switching coaches, I mean, that has a huge effect on a player. Now, guys, outside of all these technicalities, the roster, the coaching, all that, at the end of the day, Giannis is a loyal player, but the NBA is kind of showing you what loyalty gets you nowadays. And listen, man, he's a player that's mentioned multiple times that he will stay a Milwaukee Buck for life as long as they keep winning. So if they start losing games, I could definitely see him just dipping, going to a different team, because, I mean, bro, listen, at the end of the day, loyalty in the NBA nowadays gets you nothing. I feel like Giannis is a player that's very aware of his legacy. He stated before that he would stay with the Bucks for his whole career as long as they keep winning. But if they start losing like they have in the past couple of years, where they've, you know, got bounced out of the playoffs a little bit early to, you know, weaker teams or just teams that aren't really that great, he might just dip at the end of the day. Mentioned it multiple times, bro. He wants European players at the head of big markets. He said it about Jokic going to New York or something like that. He was kind of joking, but at the same time, he was kind of telling the truth. So I fully would not be surprised if this guy ends up moving to a bigger market. I mean, maybe New York, maybe Miami. I don't know. I feel like he might be out of Milwaukee, especially if they keep losing early in the playoffs and just not making it that deep anymore. I mean, obviously they had that championship run, and that's another thing I wanted to touch on. That championship run might be the reason he feels free to leave. Think about it, guys. I mean, he accomplished basically everything he can as a Milwaukee Buck. He's not going to go back-to-back. He's not going to three-peat with that team at the end of the day. He brought a small market to a championship, and that's just huge. And listen, I mean, I feel like it's going to be easier to ask out if he already, you know, accomplished everything he could as a Milwaukee Buck. He could go to the management and say, listen, I won you a championship here. I did everything I could. I want to be traded to a bigger market. And I feel like they just got to respect that decision. Listen, guys, I'm not saying Giannis is officially gone. He may not leave. He may stay a Buck his entire life. But at the end of the day, bro, he wants to keep winning games. And right now, the Bucks are not built for long-term winning. If they don't win in the next couple of seasons, I could definitely see him asking out, especially if Dame leaves. I don't know, man. The whole situation around the Bucks right now is a little bit messed up. I mean, they're a solid team, but they're not as good as they should be for a team that has Giannis and Damian Lillard. So you know what? It's going to be exciting to see. We're going to see what happens with Giannis. I mean, could I see him requesting a trade eventually? Yes, I could, especially to a bigger market to kind of grow that legacy he has and, you know, play for a bigger market team. He's already accomplished pretty much everything in Milwaukee that he can. And if they're not going to give him a roster that he can win with, then there's no point in staying. Guys, let me know what you think Giannis is going to do in the next couple of years. Obviously, this is not going to be a fast process. I don't see him leaving in the next 2 seasons, but after that, it gets a little bit risky, especially if they don't start winning games and playoff series. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Stay tuned. More NBA content coming. I'll catch you. Peace.